Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So I think the timing is right to buy Batman 9.8 comics right now. And certainly leading into the Batman movie, the Batman key issues were more expensive during that time. So you're getting a better price right now. And I think in the short term, there's going to be another Robert Pattinson Batman movie. So I would expect the kind of key issues to heat up into that movie again. And over the long term, though, you know, Batman, just such a big, iconic hero that I think you could absolutely be comfortable collecting. So I got a short list here of just some of my favorite Batman 9.8s. So the first one, a Batman 635 in a 9.8. The first appearance of Jason Todd as Red Hood. And I think this one's kind of neck and neck for like modern Batman villains that you could buy in a 9.8 with a Batman Vengeance of Bane special. I really love that one. I feel like I've talked about it quite a bit, so we'll do lately, but we'll do a Batman 635 on today's video. There's a 810 9.8s in a blue label. 40.6% is the 9.8 ratio. So of all the graded copies sent to CGC, about 40.6% of them are 9.8s. Similar to a Vengeance of Bane, yeah, these ones aren't super special in the high grade, but you know, you get those big first appearances. And loving some of the prices that I'm seeing recently on a Batman 635 in a 9.8. One had sold in an auction. I think it ended last night or the night before on eBay it was, for $310 US. And you know, mentioned after the Batman movie, you know, all the Batman key issues kind of cooled down. This one was sort of 340 to 360, I would say, were most of the auctions. I was, you know, right in that range. But I hadn't saw one go pretty close to 300. So, you know, $310 I think is just a price to aim for if you really want this one. And you know what? I really want this one. I got a raw copy, a really nice one, but this is one I absolutely want in a 9.8. And right around 300, I think it's just a great value if it's going to stay around that level. I'll probably want to try to grab one. Okay, we'll move on here. Next one I do have, luckily, Batman Beyond #1 in a 9.8. So yeah, I'm a big Batman Beyond fan. There is a big cult of following for a Batman Beyond out there. And this comic book, first appearance of Batman Beyond in this one, came out in 1999. You know, by the late 90s, the comic books weren't that popular anymore. In the early 90s, they were the most popular they ever had been, basically. The prints were as high as they'd ever been. By the late 90s, things really cooled down. This one's pretty low printed overall. It's one of the, like, it's got the, like, WB Kids book here, so I have a feeling, like, they were similar to Batman Adventures 12, has the Fox Kids. I feel like when they came out, they were just throwing them to the kids to, like, color in and stuff like that, so in the high grade, they're tough to find, this one and the Batman Adventures 12. So this is the one to get if you're the biggest Batman Beyond fan. They have kind of the origin issue and, you know, the Six Flags issue, I think, is another one. But you kind of want the UPC code version that came out in March of '99 is the release date for the first print of Batman Beyond #1. There's 388 9.8s in a blue label, a 1 of 388. So given the popularity of Batman Beyond, I feel like there should probably be about 700 or 800 of them. But there's only 388 because, again, kind of a late 90s, lower printed, tough high grade book. 27% the 9.8 ratio, so that shows it's pretty tough for a new modern comic book. So prices, $1,857, $1,887. Hanging in there, Batman Beyond #1, it was $2,500, I think, for a minute there, $3,000 when everything was a lot more expensive. But overall, kind of hanging in there. Still pretty expensive. But for all those reasons, it is a pretty great 9.8. And you know, the market cooling down recently, you might be able to get this a little closer to 1,500 if you want to be a bit strategic. Occasionally, you'll see them go a little bit closer to 1,500 in the last 6 months or so. But Batman Beyond, yeah, it was kind of, I think I was like 14 or 15 when the cartoon came out. It was like the last cartoon that I just thought was so cool, I guess, before I would have like grown up. But yeah, absolutely one I wanted to target, and to boot, it's like a great high grade 9.8 comic. Okay, next one. Speaking of another great 9.8 is Teen Titans 12. the first full appearance of Batman Who Laughs. So, you know, kind of Batman in the dark multiverse, who's been kind of deranged by Joker, who ends up being a villain, is the Batman Who Laughs, I guess, is kind of the quick version of Batman Who Laughs. But Teen Titans 12, first full appearance, similar to Batman Beyond #1, where just in its era kind of sticks out as a special high-grade comic, because there's 688 9.8s in a blue label. So one of 688, which is pretty great. I like to compare this to a Venom 3 third print. They're a very similar price in a 9.8, but the Venom 3 third print's got like 1,300 or so, I think, in a 9.8 nowadays. So this one, 688, a one of 688, is definitely, you know, looking like a better collector item, I think. And the reason, 24.3% of all graded copies are 9.8. So, you know, a book from 2017, usually it's like 70% of them are 9.8. It's like the lower the better for these percentages. So it just really sticks out as pretty much 1 in 4 of Teen Titans 12 sent to CGC are 9.8, which is a great toughness in a super high grade, I guess you could say. Recent prices cooling down a little bit. $490 I saw one sell, and $455. I think like in the last 3 months or so, I saw one go pretty close to 400, but that's really kind of the rock bottom range. This one cooling down, it certainly was hotter like everything was, kind of 700 to 800 level for a minute there when, you know, about a year and a half ago. So cooling down a bit, just I think a big Batman key issue in the modern age that's kind of special in the 9.8, to be honest, that if you're serious about your 9.8s and you're a Batman fan, you probably want to consider Teen Titans 12. All right, next one's a great one too. Batman 608 second print in a 9.8. Yeah, I wish I had this one. I'm a big Jim Lee fan. Love the Hush storyline. Just, you know, Jim Lee just nailed it. And Jeff Loeb, I believe it was. So in this second printing, so this one's just so collectible over time. This is the one to get. 472 9.8s in a blue label in the second printing, which was pretty considerably less printed than the first print. Was like, everyone knew it was like Jim Lee's first Batman, so I think the first printing was very heavily printed. So, you know, collectors go after the second print for good reason, with the classic Batman Jim Lee pose. 38.9%, the 9.8 ratio. Recent prices, $625. I think you'd do well to get, you know, close to 600 on this one in a 9.8 white pages. $739 and $729. Also saw a couple sell for. So I think that's the range on this one. This is yeah, this one's done okay over time, but you know, when myself getting into the hobby around 2018, 2019, this one was probably about $400. Now they're about $600 to $700. I think this one's just, you know, slow and steady, gonna go up over time. And on top of that, it's just one of those ones that big Batman fans go after, big Jim Lee fans go after. So it's a great one to have and collect. Okay, and the last one, a great one to have as well. Batman The Dark Knight Returns, #1 in a 9.8. Yep, seen some pretty solid prices on this one. Certainly leading into the Batman movie, these ones got pretty stiff. This was one that I thought is just one of those big Batman key issues that's really heating up. They were probably about 1,700 to bouncing on that $2,000 level leading into the Batman. Recent sale, $1,233. So right around that price. I think this one's just making so much sense, cooling down a little bit since the movie. There's a 669 9.8s in a blue label, 17.5% the 9.8 ratio. This one is getting into the 1980s, 1986, I believe. And yeah, a lot of people, this is just, a lot of people say this is the first Copper Age comic book, one of the first modern age comic books where Frank Miller just did the story so well, and it was a little bit darker, and this is kind of the first appearance of a newer Batman, where Batman's a little bit older, and he's basically like just a complete badass, and he's, you know, kind of pissed off, and not your usual kind of Bruce Wayne that you would know up to this point. So kind of ushered in the sort of darker modern age storylines of Batman. The Dark Knight Returns was one of those books for sure. So such a special comic, in a 9.8. Yeah, that 1,233 price I feel like is just a price target to aim for. One thing in the 9.8, pretty simple cover, so they'll tend to go a little bit lower end of the fair range if there's some scuffs on the case, but if it looks great, probably be willing up to pay sort of 1,400. I would, just for a great looking Batman the Dark Knight Returns in a 9.8 in a great looking kind of scuff-free case. But definitely should be on a short list of Batman key issues to consider. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. Well, 6 of them if you include Vengeance of Bane quickly there with Batman 635. But there's so many big Batman key issues that you could consider, like a Batman 404, a Batman 366. Yeah, I sort of had a list, a pretty long list that I had to just choose kind of a short list from. But I think any pretty big Batman key issue in a 9.8 right now, get it at, do your price research, be patient, get it at a real fair value. I think the timing's, pretty good to buy them now. And yeah, likely they'll heat up with the second Robert Pattinson Batman movie. And of course, Batman 2, I just like long term to kind of have and hold these, especially if you're a Batman fan. All right, we'll leave it at that, though. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. If you're liking my content, please subscribe and hit that bell, and I'll keep you updated on future videos.